G'day folks, Connor here from CW's Tech Reviews, back with another video, and today we're doing my full review of the Nokia 6.2. So without further ado, hit that like button and the subscribe button and let's get stuck into the video. Let's go. Now this traditionally looks like a Nokia phone from recent years. It's just got all the hallmarks of what you consider a Nokia phone, but I think it's different, and I'm going to get into why. And the first area I'm going to look at when considering the Nokia 6.2 is the design and build. Now most Nokia phones that have come out in the last few years have really felt like a tank. And I dare say they are like a tank. I mean, they've just been built really well. For some reason, the Nokia 6.2 doesn't quite feel like this. I mean, it says on their website that it's glass on the front and glass on the back, but it doesn't feel like it. It actually feels like it's plastic on the back, but I know it's not, but that's just how it feels to me. And if you watch my unboxing video, you'll realize that I actually thought it was plastic on the sides as well, but they're telling me on the website that it's not actually plastic at all. We're talking Gorilla Glass 3, and it also is having a little bit of nano coating as well to protect it. Nano coating's here nor there. We've got a 6.3-inch IPS LCD display, which isn't too bad. I think that's about 400 pixels per inch. And look, I've heard it get some knocks for not having a bright screen, especially in sunlight. Now, I don't have a problem with the screen in sunlight when it's cranked all the way up, but I do have a problem that it doesn't adjust to full screen brightness in sunlight. I have to manually do it. Once I manually do it, for me, it's bright enough in daylight, and I'm talking midday sun. The screen has good colors. It looks fine to me. I mean, I don't really have an issue with it. And one thing I didn't point out at the start is the price point. For this, you're looking at $399 Australian, probably around 300 US, maybe even cheaper. So it really is that low end of the game. You've got a 19:9 aspect ratio and it comes in at about 180 grams. On the back, you have 3 lenses. You've got a 16 megapixel shooter, an 8 megapixel wide angle shooter, and a 5 megapixel depth sensing lens as well. So only 2 that take the photo, and the third one senses the depth in your photos to give you that background blur. And on the front, you have an 8 megapixel camera as well, but I will cover the photos in more detail later in the video. USB Type-C, headphone jack, speaker at the top, speaker at the bottom, fingerprint unlock, and face unlock. Fingerprint unlock is slow as fuck, and face unlock barely even works. Don't waste your time with it. If you do get this, you're going to be stuck with that fingerprint unlock, which is pretty slow. In fact, that's been one of my real pet hates of the Nokia 6.2. Couple of things I do really like about the design and build. One is the Google button on the left-hand side of the device. It's really nice to not have to say, okay, gee, I can just hit the button and not have to trigger off everyone's devices. And the other one is the notification light is actually in the power button. I really dig that. It looks nice, it looks crisp, it looks different. I like it. Moving right into software, when we're talking about the Nokia 6.2, we're dealing with almost bare bones Android. There is some Nokia tweaks in there with the software, but as you can see here on the box, 3 years of software updates and 2 years of major software updates. So we're going to get Android 10 on this, and whatever the latest and greatest version after Android 10 is, you will get that update as well. Now there's a couple of things with Nokia software. It's not always just beer and Skittles. Sometimes there's some weird tweaks in their software that can become frustrating, and I do have a couple of little pet hates with the Nokia 6.2 as well. Now this is running Snapdragon 636 and 4 gigabytes of RAM. So you put those two together in stock Android and you think you're going to get a fairly smooth sort of experience, but I'm experiencing some real delays in using the phone, especially with opening apps. Now when I say real delays, I'm really talking about maybe 2 to 3 seconds at times for applications to open. There should be no reason for an app to take 2 to 3 seconds to open when you've got a Snapdragon 636 and 4 gigs of RAM. It should just open. So that is frustrating. Like when you press an app, you want it to open straight away. Once an application is open, it seems to be quite fine and scrolls quite smoothly, and I don't really have any issues. And I have said in the past with some other mid-range phones that I actually think that sometimes they're optimized for battery instead of performance and maybe tweaked too far one way. I mean, one of the things Nokia says about the 6.2 is that it's got 2-day battery life. Well, I don't really care. I don't need it to last me 2 days, so if they could tweak this software for performance rather than battery, I think everyone would be a little bit happier. And probably the only other thing I didn't really like about this software is that it was released in this day and age with Android 9. I think it should have just come straight out with Android 10. Now we all know a low-end phone or $300 to $400 phone is not going to be a beast when it comes to gaming, but we still want to be able to play some games, and it's a bit of a mixed bag here. So I played PUBG on low graphic settings, and there was a few times where it was stuttering here and there, and it was tricky. I mean, I knew someone was trying to shoot me and I'd be trying to spin around, but I'd be dead before I could even turn around. And it just happened on a few too many occasions. That doesn't happen when I'm gaming on my Galaxy Note 9. Asphalt 9, however, seemed to cope really well, and I didn't experience any real stuttering. I mean, the frame rates aren't going to be super high, but I did get a smooth gaming experience when it came to Asphalt 9. So you do have to take the good with the bad here. And you can't really buy this phone expecting it to be the best for gaming. It's going to be down the bottom end for gaming, but you can game on it. If you can only afford the Nokia 6.2, you're going to be able to play games on it. All right, now the camera for the Nokia 6.2. We've got a 16 megapixel camera and an 8 megapixel wide angle camera and a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera. We should be able to get some decent photos with this. It can be a little bit unsaturated at times, especially in low light. The wide angle lens is definitely a little bit unsaturated, and it just seems like the whole image is distorted, where if you had a good quality wide angle lens, only the edges might seem distorted, but with the Nokia 6.2 it seems like the whole image is kind of distorted. But it can take a wide angle shot, and here you can see some differences. If I was going to take portraits with this, I would use the rear camera, not the front-facing camera, and I wouldn't use portrait mode. I would just use the standard photo mode because it actually takes a better photo. A lot of the times I would take a photo and I'd go to view it afterwards, and I had to wait for the phone to do the processing side of it. Video is hot garbage, and you can see from these basic videos that 4K and 1080p is very choppy and stuttery, and you can see a lot of artifacts in the video. But look, it records video and it records sound, and so you can get those happy snaps and happy short videos that you want to get of your family or your pet or your kids or whatever the case might be, but it's not going to be the best quality. Now, when I think 4K, I think amazing footage, but this is not the case with the Nokia 6.2. The 4K video is bad, and the 1080p video isn't much better, and the front-facing video ain't real good either. Now, I know the model in this video is me, and you can't polish a turd, I get that, but the video is still bad as well, and the turd could well be the video in the Nokia 6.2. Now, the selling point, Nokia 6.2, 2 days of battery life. How is the battery life? It is good. I mean, I do get 2 days of battery out of it. Easy. It does everything slowly. It doesn't use a lot of power. Yeah, you're gonna get 2 days of battery out of it for sure. And for charging as well, I mean, I was getting around 1% of battery per minute. That's using the Nokia charger that came with the phone. Then this phone is gonna get you through 2 days. So would I recommend the Nokia 6.2? Let's just have a look at it again. The pros, the look and the feel and the battery life. And the cons, well, the real cons for me is the camera and the performance. I mean, I like apps to open when I tap on them, and I like good quality video and good pictures. I don't really get good video, I get okay pictures, and the performance is slow. Sorry, Nokia, I'm not doing you any favors. But look, if you want regular security updates for 3 years and you want good battery life and no fuss software where it's just bare bones, then the Nokia 6.2 could easily be the phone for you, especially within your budget. If you're really into cameras and photography and a low-end phone is all you can afford, then you probably want to go and look at something else other than the Nokia 6.2. Now, I know that you appreciate my feedback and my honesty on this video. Some of you are going to hate on me for this review and some of you aren't, but that's just the way it goes. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Check out.